I'm Lance Phillips. The Lakeland Rustlers women's basketball team is off to a 4-0 start. How do you feel about that?
I'm Chris King, and I'm extremely happy about the 4-0 start.
I guess you would be.
Yeah, a lot of good things happening right now at Lakeland. A lot of good things.
You are coaching this team still.
Right. Well, until I get thrown out, I'm still there.
Hey, nice makeup, by the way.
Yeah, someone did it for me in the back.
Literally, just minutes before we started.
I look like I'm about 25 now.
That's the key is makeup right there. Just looking like you're younger than you are. Lance Phillips, Chris King joining us this week on The Gloves Are Off. Of course, catch us on Twitter at Gloves TV or Facebook, The Gloves Newcap. Mr. King, good to have you back.
Thanks for having me. I thought I was kicked off for good. But,
no, well, when you co-hosted with Josh, I thought I was gone for good. So maybe Josh is probably watching this like, man, what's going on here?
There's a reason why this seat's hot over here, I think.
Yeah, no, that's the hot seat for sure. It's probably wet. Josh sweats a lot, so that seat is probably still damp.
That's good. I get it with the lights and everything.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, listen, there's a pretty significant football game that's going to be happening this week. You might know the two teams, the Raiders and the Barons.
I think it's our high school teams.
Yeah, that's a pretty big game coming up, and I guess that's where we'll start, is of course with the Barons and the Raiders. Raiders destroyed Bonnyville 49-21 in semifinal number 1, and just down the road a little bit before that, the Lake Comp Barons beat St. Paul 39-0. Now, it's a Wheatland final matchup between these two teams, the same as week 1, a rematch where the Barons won that game. Who do you see having the upper hand this coming week?
Well, right from the beginning, you've been pro-Barons, right from the start of the season.
Well, I just think it's their league to lose.
And fair enough, but we do know that some of the predictions have been off. You predicted they were going to average 50 points per game this year, which they're averaging 28.6.
What if they score like 150 points this last week?
It could happen, but there's not enough Rouges to score that many points.
The Rouge is amazing, by the way.
Holy Rosary is averaging 29.6, so they're actually the better offense right now. And I actually think Holy's got a chance to win this game if they play solid. I think the line play and the special teams play is going to be huge for them.
I'll tell you what, I have been pro-Barons only because I thought they had the better team. And obviously, I don't have an allegiance to either of these schools. I didn't go to school here.
Yet.
And the Raiders took offense to that early on in the season. Those players were not happy that I had chosen the Barons. However, that being said, that Raiders team is much improved. Much improved. And I'm not so sure anymore that it's the Barons game to lose. I'm actually starting to lean more towards the Raiders, just watching what they've done in that game against Bonnyville. They made Bonnyville look like public school kids.
Well, that's the nice thing about this league, right? They play the same teams. The scores are pretty similar, and you can see the teams are both getting better as time goes on. And you can't underestimate when you throw shade at a team that they're going to come back and respond.
And it's great. I mean, that's perfect.
It's awesome for the kids, right? The kids were fired up, and I think knowing that that's an in-city rivalry, I think it's going to be a huge game this weekend, and both sides are going to be fired up.
Are you going?
I will be coaching in Edmonton, so I will not be going.
I'll tell you right now, any fan that is going to be that turnout at that game will probably be the best that we've seen in a long time, because these two teams are so close. They're so close that fans you can't help but go to this game because it's anyone's match at this point.
Yeah, well, I look forward to seeing the tape from it. Hopefully you'll have that for me.
Well, I might have some tape. We'll see how it goes.
The Fall Classic is starting tonight. And we have, of course, the powerhouse LA Dodgers and the underdog Houston Astros. What can the Astros do, Lance, to come over this huge giant, really?
Yeah, it is a huge giant. And I think a lot of people are making this a close series. You know, I see a lot of Dodgers in 7. I see some Astros in 7. I see a lot of Dodgers in 6. Look, the Houston Astros are going to need a Herculean effort from guys like Dallas Keuchel and Justin Verlander in order to win this series. They need a Justin Verlander performance like he gave them in Game 6 against the Yankees.
Yeah.
If they don't get that, they're done. I don't care how good their bats are, and I know that's what you're coming with.
Their bats are good.
I know,
but
their pitching has to be incredible.
For sure, but I think anyone in the World Series, your pitching has to be great. But 1 through 9, their bats are amazing. I would even say off the bench, they got good bats off the bench, whether Gaddis is in the lineup or out of the lineup. Yes, the Dodgers have Kershaw. Yes, Kershaw is the best in the world. But I think if you look at Keuchel and Verlander, I think they're going to keep them in those games. I actually think the Astros are going to win this in 6, is what I think is going to happen.
Wow, in 6?
In 6, yeah. I think they're built well. They run the bases well. They can play small ball. They can hit home runs. I really like the feel of that team.
I'm going to stand by the pitching thing, because if they don't pitch well and they don't get the type of pitching that they need, they're not going to beat this team. The Dodgers are too good across the board.
Well, the thing with Keuchel, though, is the Dodgers haven't seen Keuchel, and he's really tough to hit when you haven't seen him throw, right? whereas at least some of the Astros have had experience hitting off of some of the Dodger pitchers. So I think the first time through, especially in the playoffs, when you're seeing the best stuff, it's really hard to hit a guy. So I think that's why I think Astros have a little bit of an edge on the pitching.
I've got the Dodgers winning this in 5 or 6.
I think you're crazy.
You think I'm crazy?
I think you're crazy.
No way. The Dodgers are too good, and you know that they're going to trot out Kershaw as many times as they can. He may pitch every game.
It's true.
He may start, and then he may come in as the reliever.
Yeah.
Like that is
he could do it. If anyone could do it, he could do it.
It's entirely just complete games. He just pitches 5 or 6 complete games, and we're through.
I'm marking that down once again as another prediction for me.
Yeah, I didn't predict anything. I'm just saying he could. I said he could.
Okay.
Less than 6 minutes into the Celtics-Cavs opener this past week, Gordon Hayward suffered what could only be classified as a horrific leg injury. Horrific. Let's just recap what happened here. An alley-oop from Kyrie Irving to Hayward. Hayward, LeBron, tangled underneath the net. Hayward comes down on his left foot, his ankle goes sideways, and his tibia doesn't fracture, it snaps in half. What does this injury mean for the Boston Celtics?
They're done. I think last time I was on the show, we talked about Boston having a shot to win it. I don't think they have a shot anymore. That was one of the grossest accidents I've seen in sports.
It's like Kevin Ware-esque.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I always tell people, like, okay, basketball isn't like hockey and football in terms of the collisions, but you're 11 feet in the air getting knocked around. And when he came down, all of his weight, it was
Players
disgusting.
scattered from the bench.
Yeah.
Fans were horrified. I couldn't imagine being courtside for that.
How do you even play
The
after
sound of it, you could hear it through the television. The sound would just be. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. This is exactly where Kyrie Irving wanted to be, not
Right.
with an injured Gordon Hayward, but he wanted to be LeBron James for another team,
Right.
and this is his opportunity. He has to be LeBron-esque for this team to even have a fighting chance. And I don't know if that's enough. And he's not LeBron.
Well, yeah, he's not 6'10" and built to muscle. He is a 6'3", 6'4" guard who creates shots and really sells for a lot of jumpers. Now, Kyrie's going to be good for them, but in Brad Stevens' system, Brad Stevens doesn't really have one guy shooting 30 shots. The way that this Celtics team was built was to share the ball with Gordon Hayward and himself and Horford contributing at different times. And now Kyrie's going to have to still play in the system, but someone else is going to have to step up. I think Jason Tatum might be that guy.
The Celtics even came out and said, we have a team of good players, but we need a team of great players. They don't have a team of great players, and they're going to have to acquire 1 or 2 at this point, and they're not going to.
Yeah.
This team is in big trouble. Where do they stand at the end of the season? Where are they in the Eastern Conference standings?
I think they're going to finish 5th, somewhere in there, and then write it down. 5th, and then probably losing the first round. Speaking of losing personnel, Boston Red Sox have just fired their manager. And makes me wonder, with all the firings, the Washington Nationals as well firing their manager in the last couple of weeks, why don't the Toronto Blue Jays get rid of their manager?
Do they need to?
I think so. Look at these teams that are winning. They're playoff teams winning all these games, and they're getting rid of their manager, because what's the goal here?
It's to win.
To win, to get to the
granted,
World Series.
the Blue Jays had a terrible season. They also dealt with a ton of injuries, but John Gibbons took them to the ALCS twice before that.
And coached them out of the ALCS twice. Like, Gibbons is unbelievable in the way that he uses his roster and refuses to play small ball or steal. And I will say he did try to do that a
The
little bit.
Jays don't have a team to play small ball. Jose Bautista is not a small ball player.
So tell me if you're going to see the Dodgers and the Astros, if you're going to see any bunts, any steals, or any hit and runs, because you don't see that with the Toronto Blue Jays. That's my problem.
The Toronto Blue Jays don't have that team. They don't have a team of players that play that way.
They could.
I'm not saying they couldn't, but as their roster is constructed right now, that is not the team they have.
So what you're telling me is Gibbons managed fine the last 3 years, and you'd give him a check, you'd give him a pass on the way he's managed that.
What I will say is I think that his rope is very long. I think the rope he has in Toronto is long. You know, I think a lot of managers are kind of judged or graded off of the way they manage bullpens. This is an area where John Gibbons is absolutely horrific in. He's one of the worst bullpen managers I've seen in recent memory. Beyond that, he's a player's manager. I think the players really like playing for him. They like being around him. He lets them do what they want to do for the most part. So my only real knock against John Gibbons right now is his management of arms.
Well, I think that's the thing. The players like him because he lets them do what they want to do. I don't think he has enough say. I think he just rolls out the same lineup all the time. I think he lacks creativity on how he plays his lineup. I think you could shuffle that lineup a lot, interesting. And now you're going to have some new pieces coming up. Don't do Gibby on me. Do not do Gibby on me.
Yeah, well, you know.
And it just his careless attitude.
Guys played hard out there. I mean, they work hard out there, you know, getting good efforts from everyone all around.
I'm telling you right now, I could not play for a guy like that. I need some intensity. I need to know. I need to hear when I'm doing poorly.
I don't disagree, but there has to be more. We have to see more. We have to see another year under John Gibbons and see if this team is fifth in the in the AL East next year. John Gibbons has got to be gone.
Well, they will be. They're going to be young. And they're going to have a bunch of old guys injured.
Nah, I don't know. I see this being a decent team next year. Better than where they finished this year, which actually was fourth in the AL East, if I'm not mistaken. The Ottawa Senators are having problems drawing fans. This past Thursday versus the New Jersey Devils, just over 13,000 fans attended at the Canadian Tire Centre. They're currently 26th in the NHL, averaging just north of 15,000 fans. What is the problem in Ottawa, Chris, that they cannot get people out?
Well, I think there's a combination of things. Obviously, the product is the biggest thing. What's the experience that the fans are getting now?
They're a great team this year. So they've been excellent.
Right.
They just clobbered the Leafs.
What's the in game? And you know the biggest problem is getting to that stadium.
Okay,
right?
that place is a disaster.
Every little thing ticks onto it. Like, I haven't been there myself. You've probably been out in that neck of the woods, but like, I hear it's quite the trek to get out there.
Okay, on a good night. A good night, it's a 30-minute drive. I cannot imagine what that is like when you're trying to get out of that stadium with thousands and thousands of cars trying to get out of there as well. I haven't done it myself.
Yeah.
But I've heard rumblings about what it's like, and it's not good.
It'd be like the Oilers playing out at L Curve.
Sure.
With
So
one row.
listen, if you're sitting at home and you've got a 65-inch television in your basement, high def, even 4K for that matter, and you have the option to fight traffic to go out to that arena, or you can sit at home and enjoy the company of some friends and some drinks and watch that game, what are you choosing?
I'm choosing the drinks for sure, sitting at home on my couch.
What if you live in downtown Vancouver or downtown Toronto and the arena is a transit ride, maybe even a walk?
Yeah, you know
what?
what?
Are you going to go then? You probably are.
And I would probably go down around the area if I didn't have tickets, just to be in the pub or maybe get scalper tickets or something like that.
Listen, the other thing to keep in mind here is I believe as well that once demand starts to decline, you start to see people think, oh, well, I don't have to rush out and get those tickets. I can take it easy, and then that take it easy turns into I didn't buy any for this game. Oh, well, let's go downstairs and watch it.
Yeah.
So now that the supply has outweighed the demand, it only goes down from here. This is a slippery slope for Ottawa that they need to correct immediately, and they need to figure out how to do it. And a lot of it, unfortunately, is going to be building a downtown arena.
Yeah, and that's going to have to happen.
And it may not.
The Riders shored up their defense this weekend by placing their top wide receiver, Ron Carter, at cornerback or defensive back. And what did he do? Pick six. Pick six to the house. Did you watch the game?
I didn't actually watch this game, but I was out of town.
I couldn't believe that at first they lined him up in the backfield. He had a couple big hits. He had a pickoff. And, of course, before the game, in classic Carter style, ran his mouth, better not throw it my way, better not throw it that way. And sure enough, he makes him pay.
I mean, the guy threw a quacker up.
Yeah, I think I could have caught that probably.
It had been shot, and it had been gunned down like skeet shooting mid-flight and into him. Listen, what Chris Jones did here is brilliant. This is Chris Jones football. Chris Jones is a defensive mastermind, and what he did here is so smart. Are you going to keep playing him?
Yeah, you got to
play him both ways. Yeah. You have to until he shows that he can't do it. That's you may see other teams in the league start to do this.
Well, actually, I'm kind of surprised that once I saw that, I'm like, you know what? With the import rule, why aren't you playing your best athletes all the time, anyways? Because I got to think they're a lot better than some of the. And no offense to Canadian product, we're producing some really good players, but like if you're paying your import max salary, play his ass.
No, all the time. All the time, and he's got to play more. Like you can't. How can you look at this and be? Even though the thing floated through the air like I don't know something.
But the run back was
something
impressive.
Like a balloon.
He broke like 6 tackles, zigzag through. It looked like.
It doesn't matter how you scored the touchdown. You scored a touchdown on a pick six. You can't not put him back in the game next week. Be like, how can you? You know what, Duran? Great job on defense. You scored a pick six. You know, we clobbered Calgary 37. We're going to take you off of defense though.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah, especially if your defense isn't playing well, right? Because then you're going to hear it for the rest of the season. He's going to be chirping the rest of the CBs and saying.
How many times up to the beginning of this game? How many times had Calgary lost? won. They'd won 13. So they didn't beat them. You know, we narrowly, like I said, they beat them 37. You can't not do this again.
So you're saying Carter plays DB the rest of the year?
I think
they're
you play
undefeated.
you play him until you can't.
I agree. I agree.
Play him until you can't.
we
Albert's
go.
coming up next. He's loaded up. We got some good stuff.
Oh, Kinger.
Beauty.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
Hey, so what were we just talking about?
Well,
just before he came
my,
back.
my color choice. He's making fun of my color choice here.
I wasn't making fun of it.
I have a black shirt. I'm
He's
sweating.
sweating.
It's hot in here. My girl said, Coach, you can't wear white. You look too big. You got to wear something that's slimming. So I'm wearing black to look lighter, and now I'm dying of heat.
Sweet.
Unreal.
It is warm in here, but it's not like over the top.
It's hot.
Take it easy, Bird. Okay, this is ESPN at ESPN. Lonzo's making Laker history. 8 points, 13 assists, 8 rebounds. The guy is a god amongst peasants.
It doesn't matter for the Lakers.
Hey,
They're going to love him
there's
no matter
mail.
what. No matter what happens.
I mean, you did sense the sarcasm in that.
Oh, no, I know, but like the Lakers fans think that that's awesome. They'll take that.
LeVar thinks it's awesome. I can't.
24 years ago today, Joe Carter's walk-off World Series ending blast. I know we all remember this moment, and one of the greatest ones in Canadian sport history.
What's incredible is that the World Series is starting tonight. So there's still potentially 7 games to play, and the World Series in 91 was over.
Change of the
In
times,
92,
man.
over.
That's how much longer the season is.
I know, and it's not just baseball, it's hockey as well. This is for you, my man. This is RDC Athletics, at RDC Athletics. At RDC Queens, SSOC, so that's Red Deer Queens Soccer, versus at Go Rustlers, game recap. The Queens ended their soccer season with 2 straight wins. And this came up on my feed because this was liked and retweeted by the Lakeland Rustlers. Why are the Lakeland Rustlers retweeting tweets about teams that beat them in any sport? What is that about? Good
Well,
sportsmanship? It's good sportsmanship.
Mail.
As you know, all of our teams lose at some point,
Sure.
and we're probably retweeting the story in the sense that it is our Rustlers in it. But I'll talk to
They
the guy in charge
lost.
and see what happened.
They lost. You are the guy in charge.
I know.
Why are we retweeting?
I think it was
these
the first issue out, right? So for us, we have our stuff coming out today. You will see it, and it'll talk about our.
I haven't seen it yet.
I
Haven't
bet
seen
you.
it
I
yet.
bet you by the time you go check this after the
That
show,
game was
it's there.
Saturday. We're now 3 days past Saturday, and I haven't seen boo.
I think we need to get someone in there to do content for us. That's what we need.
Oh boy, you're not kidding.
I got at Mr. Michael Lee, slow motion hashtag phantom cam
Yeah.
of Wiggins game winners.
Dude,
awesome.
This is sickening. Like,
From the
it's so
cat
good.
screen to mellow trailing to beat the clock video.
Like, watch the reaction. The reaction is gold.
That's Tiger-esque right there.
It is. Like, I love super slow-mo stuff like this. It's just,
Look at how high Jamal Crawford
I know.
got on
Hey,
that.
there's mail.
it's crazy good. All right, what do you got? Okay, this is great. I saved this. I responded to it. I love sometimes being roasted. I don't mind. You know, I don't mind. If it's in good fun and it's good taste,
Right.
I have no problem. This is Josh at YOASH. I don't know what's up with that Twitter handle. Dear at Gloves TV and at Lance Phillips TV, your Ontario is showing. It's Saskatchewan, not Saskatchewan. Look it. Saskatchewan is not spelt W-I-N. If anything, it might be Saskatcheloos from the Riders, although they did beat Calgary.
That's a
They
low
did beat
blow.
Calgary.
I think it's in the
got
pronunciation.
It's Saskatchewan. It's spelled Saskatchewan. That'd be like pronouncing Calgary.
Some people do. Calgary.
Calgary. Yeah,
Calgary.
no way, Calgary.
Hey, I've heard it before.
Calgary.
Calgary.
Come on. Vancouver.
At Barstool Big Cat, when all else fails, just point the finger your way through it.
Yeah,
This
for
is
sure.
amazing.
No, it is. Like this dance.
This is the end of the night bar dance by yourself in the corner. And
And it looks like he's milking a cow at the end of it. Like there it is.
and his girlfriend beside
tugging
him
on the
is
udders.
loving it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's killing it. He's killing it.
Look at her.
Hey,
Unreal.
there's mail.
I love stuff like that, man. Like, it honestly doesn't get better. Okay, this is College of Sports Media at C Sports Media. This is my alma mater.
All right.
I had a great time for 2 years at this place. One day a year, the cover is taken off the CSM Bowl. Today's hashtag championship day. Good luck to all. Hashtag it's go time. So every year.
That looks like a giant Easter egg. What
I
is
know,
that
it
thing?
is. It's basically a big glass bowl of broken pieces of glass.
You guys drank out of it, didn't you?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So, every year, 4 teams out of the 2 years of classes play touch football for this championship trophy. I'm proud to say that we, as a group in year 1, my team won this trophy in year 1. There was nobody that could beat us. We were untouchable.
Were you the kicker? Or?
Pardon me?
Were you the kicker?
No,
or
man, I was the receiver / DB. I did everything I could.
That's awesome.
Mostly cheering from the sidelines, but
Hey, a win's a win. Any way you look
That's
at
a shout out to the College of Sports Media. Just one of my, when I think of my life, that is 2 years that will go down in history for me as one of the best times I've had.
That's awesome.
Let me hear.
We got one more here. At Mike Beauview, Rob Ryan looks like Gandalf went undercover to bust a cocaine smuggling ring in Miami during 1986.
How good is that?
That is unbelievable.
He's wearing a pink jacket, and the long white hair. It looks like he actually washed it.
Yeah. I don't think Gandalf was that thick, but he does look like he was in all those cocaine movies. They're popping up all. He could be any character in there. Colombian,
no, for sure.
Yeah.
Colombian with white,
yeah,
with
the
long
tan,
white, long white hair.
With the tan, he would be the guy dealing for sure. You've seen the movies.
Okay, this is Division 6 bound. How? Hashtag Division 6 bound. How do you do this? One.
I'll get it.
2. Yeah. JV saved him just the pure embarrassment of.
I also want to point out that was the #1 pick in the NBA draft. That was Markelle Fultz.
How do you miss? First of all, how do you miss the? I believe in free throws, every player should shoot at least 80%.
I would agree.
It's a free
75.
throw. It doesn't. There's no cost. That's why it's called free.
Right.
There's nobody guarding you. You literally are standing there with zero pressure.
You should come have a shoot off with our wrestlers and see you or anyone else.
I'll smoke those fools.
Got at Cespedes Barbecue, dude wearing batting gloves and helmet in the stands.
What is wrong with people?
How do you leave your house like that? Did he change partway to work?
Can you imagine looking in the mirror at your house?
And did he try to go through the player's entrance like that?
This looks good. This looks good. I think I got it nailed down. Yeah, exactly. Actually, you know who that is? That's actually the famous movie star, Bruce Willis.
Oh,
that is a dead ringer for Bruce Willis. That could be him. Do you remember Bruce Willis quite a few years ago at the Raptors game when James Cebulski interviewed him at courtside and he dropped an F-bomb? He's like, "Thanks a lot, mother."
I did not see that.
You don't remember at the end of the interview? Oh,
I'm in Albertan, so I didn't see it.
Richard Justice, at Richard Justice. That's my best pitch, and I'm coming at you with it. Lance McCullers Jr., I'm finishing the game with 24 straight curveballs. That's a man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine throwing 24 straight curveballs to finish a game?
A lot of guts right there. A lot of guts.
Just give the guy playoff MVP.
And as a batter, you're thinking, okay, this one's going to be straight.
Yeah,
this one's going to be straight.
For sure.
At Mike Reese, those taking left turn into Gillette Stadium are greeted by a sign that brings back memories of the Super Bowl. Falcons at Patriots tonight. That is ruthless.
Oh, it's savage is what it is. It's absolutely savage.
It's nice to see Sports City embrace that kind of stuff, though.
How good is that?
Oh, it's awesome. I would have took a picture of that for sure.
Oh, I would have just gone and stood beside it and promoted it.
Selfie bomb.
Just constant photos of cars driving by that have Atlanta Falcons gear.
And there's an officer there. That's the best part.
No, I would hate to be a fan of the other team to find out that that's what I'm coming into.
Yeah. Good night. Just hand it over. We're done here.
If you can't score, you might as well drop the gloves.
Hey, Lance Phillips, Chris King with you. Where are you from?
I'm from Kitsgate.
Are you?
Yep.
But you live in Lloydminster now, right?
Lloydminster.
Lloydminster?
Minster.
Oh, it's Minster.
Yeah.
That's because that's how it's spelt, right? It's not
Oh
spelt
my God,
minister.
Still about this. Oh my God.
It's true. It's the same thing. Saskatchewan is an it's an A. It's not an I.
Okay.
Josh,
Any way
take
you
your-
wanna
Josh
pronounce
can,
it.
that Josh guy can take his 268 followers or whatever it is, and he can go to Saskatchewan and do
I
his
just
thing
remember
over
you
there.
saying you like being roasted, but you're not
I do.
handling
No,
this
it's
well.
fun.
You're not handling it well.
My hope is that this guy comes back and we have a little bit of fun with this. I think it's all good. All right, listen. When Chris King is on the show, we do bold predictions with Kinger, and of course, He's here. We're doing it.
And they're always pretty good and pretty accurate.
Some of them have been weak sauce.
Ovechkin, how's he doing with those 50 goals?
Yeah, no way. No
He's
chance.
coming. All right, so let's open it up this week. First one I got is with the Kevin Durant injury, obviously the Golden State Warriors have took a huge step back. I still believe they're going to be first in their division in the West, and they're still going to win the championship, even if he doesn't play another game this year.
Again, like this is not a bold
That
prediction.
is bold. They're losing their best player, and I'm saying they're
Is he
still
their
gonna
best
win.
player?
He's the best
You
player in the
think
league right now.
Kevin Durant is the best player in the league.
Yeah, he showed it last year. He was the best player in the league last year, hands down. The NBA Finals proved it. He was the best player in the league.
In the finals.
No, in the league.
I'm
all
saying.
year.
So you're saying that the finals determine who the best player in the league is. If you could play well for a short stretch and
So he was an MVP runner in OKC. He comes over, he sacrifices for the team, so his numbers aren't as good as Russell, myself, Westbrook.
now you're all pro him going to a
I'm-
team to
I'm-
win championships because he can't win one in OKC. Because before you were all about
Right.
the fact that I don't like this. And now you're all for
I
it.
like watching the basketball. I'm saying he's the best player
I
right
like
now in the NBA.
I like watching the basketball. I enjoy watching
basketball is very
The
nice.
basketball. I like watching the basketball go in the hoop.
Oh yeah, I think you'll disagree with this one, since you're so pro Warriors. My Pittsburgh Steelers are now the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
That is absolute. That is an atrocity.
5-2 right now. Big Ben Swan song. I can feel it. It's coming. They have him.
Who else is 5-2?
A lot of teams.
Right.
But not as good as the Steelers.
You,
They possibly
as
have.
an example.
No, okay, let's just say this. Would you say it's fair that they have the best running back and the best wide receiver in the league?
That is fair, but they do not have the best quarterback in the league.
No, because he tried to retire. Whenever you try to retire, it means you're probably retired.
Right.
But he's still pretty good.
And I'm not partial to this team. I'm just saying they're incredibly good. The New England Patriots. As much as people hate the Patriots, Tom Brady is doing this without the best running back or the best wide receiver in the league. They're 5-2. He's winning Super Bowls without those guys.
Well, we can.
That's
that
still the
5
team
wins.
to beat.
The 5 wins is all Belichick there.
Yeah, because he's out there on the field playing.
I would think
he's
so.
out there. He's
it
out there
It
throwing
feels like it
balls.
sometimes, and it feels like the league is rigged towards the Patriots. But we'll talk about that another day.
Okay, that is a shocking. That's a bold prediction right there.
That's a write down.
That one's a bold one for sure.
All right, U Sport playoffs are just around the corner.
Nice.
Calgary Dinos are 7-0 right now, so I'm taking the Dinos, my wife's alma mater, to win the Vanier Cup. Not just the Mitchell Bowl, but
Wow.
the Vanier Cup. Do you think they can do it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the thing about the Calgary Dinos. They're always
They're
there.
good, yeah.
They're always there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah. That again. I don't think this is too bold a prediction.
Right. Well,
I think you're
ultimately,
becoming soft on me.
I don't think it's soft. Think about it in football. It's one game. You got to play each other. You got to play a game to get the playoffs, and then you got to win the Mitchell Bowl, and then you got to win the Vanier Cup. And
Right.
ultimately, when you got to play Laval,
Yeah.
you got to play your best
Right.
ball.
You're not becoming soft. You only wear clothing to appease your girls' basketball team, women's basketball team.
I'm a
So
man.
No, that's a non-soft.
I'm a
soft
man
stance.
of the people.
It's a non-soft
the
stance.
people.
No, listen, I don't think that's too bold. You know, I think a bold prediction a couple years ago would have been to say the UBC Thunderbirds are going to win
Right.
the Vanier Cup. That would have been bold that year because they had to go through the Calgary Dinos to get there.
Right. And like you said, the Dinos have been good all along.
Yeah.
Speaking of another bold prediction.
Yes.
The NBA Rookie of the Year will be Ben Simmons from the 76ers.
Holy cow.
I think even with the year off, I think he's going to be the top rookie. I don't like what I've seen out of some of the other NBA rookies so far, and it's only been 3 or 4 games in.
I think actually the Rookie of the Year will be LeVar Ball.
LeVar, yeah.
LeVar Ball will be Rookie of the Year.
Well, he certainly.
Or maybe actually LaMelo Ball, who isn't
certainly-
even in the league yet, will be Rookie of the Year.
He thinks they will all be MVPs at some point.
Anyways, that's interesting. That one's a bit more bold because there's a lot of guys that could challenge him for that spot. And as much as I hate to admit it, I think Lonzo's one of those guys, if he plays well and that team actually performs fairly well, he's a contender. But yeah.
I'm a Lakers fan. That team's terrible. Like, they're awful.
Oh, they're bad.
Yeah.
They're
Like,
bad.
and
I'm
it's
just
tough
saying
to
if
watch.
they can perform, decently well, he runs a chance.
He's
there,
got a
right?
shot.
But
Okay.
yeah, that's I don't know if that's bold or not so bold, but I like the prediction.
Okay. Well, let's slide down to hockey here.
Okay, let's.
So we talked a lot about hockey last time I was on here. As of right now, early in the season, my favorite to win the cup, and this isn't really bold, but it's not the team I think everyone else would take, is The Nashville Predators.
Wow.
I love their depth. I love the way Rene's playing. I think when you have good goaltending, it gives you a shot. Obviously, they were fantastic last year on their run. I think they have 3 lines that are really good and even a 4th. They're my hands-on favorite right now. If I was a betting man, I would lay money there. And you know,
They're your hands-on favorite?
I don't have enough money to bet. So
I don't sports bet. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I know.
And I wouldn't sports bet on that either.
Yeah, well,
That's a losing proposition because the Nashville Predators, I don't believe, get to the point they got to last year. They don't get to the Cup final this year.
So what do you think? They lose out first round, second round?
They may lose in the Western Conference final. I would say they're good enough to compete in that.
Who do you see there?
I'd say the Arizona Coyotes are probably a team that we reckon with in the Western Conference. It's currently without a win.
You and I are jumping off the Oilers bandwagon here.
Truthfully,
broken legs.
The Chicago Blackhawks, I mean, and everyone says, oh, they're always, it's easy to say them. It is easy to say them because they're a damn good team. And they're a team that even though they didn't have the season they wanted last year, as far as playoffs are concerned, they're still a threat every year. They've got top-level talent on that team. They got guys who can score, and they've got good goaltending.
Yeah, and ultimately, it takes a combination of the 3 to make the run, right?
And PK Subban isn't even playing right now. He's out.
Which, when he comes back, huge addition.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're a good team. I don't believe they're cup bound. I give that one a bold prediction.
You disagree?
For sure.
That's fair.
I love that one.
Okay. So how about this one? Not only is Duke going to win the NCAA championship, men's basketball championship this year, which isn't a bold prediction because Duke's always good,
right,
but I also think that this is going to be Coach K's last year coaching. So I think he's going to leave on a national championship and hang it up.
What if they don't win?
I still think this might be.
You still think he's gone?
Yeah, with all the injuries and stuff with his body, I think that he might just hang it up. I don't know. I have a feeling this could be it.
Mike Krzyzewski.
Yeah, the greatest coach in
Mike Krzyzewski with all the injuries to his body.
Yeah, like he misses weeks every year.
I get it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Nick's president right now, Lakers coach, ex-coach.
Jackson.
Phil Jackson.
Former. He got fired now.
Right. Yeah. Pardon me. Didn't he sit on the sidelines in a reclining chair at one point?
It was actually a swivel chair. So I don't know if you're trying to make fun of my job as a coach that I should be on a swivel chair. But he did.
I'm just saying Krzyzewski could feasibly sit in a recliner on the sidelines if he wanted.
That is true. But I think at some point he's going to hang it up and pass the reins over. And I think that time's
pass away.
Oh,
pass away.
That's rough.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention no guest on the show this week, Kiss King. But next week, pretty excited to have Emma Miskew, the third for Team Rachel Homan, on the show. Of course, the Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling underway today, and it's going to be exciting to have her on. We're going to talk about World Championships. We're going to talk about curling strategies. We're going to talk all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, exciting time in the community too.
Well. For sure it is, and we're going to get to that kind of in our last block of the show. Right now, we're going to do a little shock, no shock. This is kind of a fun little segment we decided to start up. We're going to bring up subjects. We're going to tell you if we find them shocking or if we don't find them shocking. And I'll start it off.
Hit me.
Sunday Nighter featured the Atlanta Falcons. Great Cup. Super Bowl rematch between the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots. And during that game, Falcons' Adrian Claiborne delivered a pretty substantial head hit to Tom Brady. And that is not going to result in a suspension. Is that shocking or not shocking to you?
It's shocking to me because usually with the head hits, it's a huge fine and or a suspension or both.
This is the NFL.
Yeah, this is NFL.
So this is shocking to you.
And you don't, it's shocking to me because the NFL really needs to clean up their act. They just seem to
From that standpoint alone, it's not shocking at all.
I know, they seem to mishandle situations all the time, but at some point you keep thinking.
I don't know, they handled the Ray Rice elevator situation pretty well.
Yeah, no video proof. You just think that at some point they're going to do the right thing. So I'm shocked that they haven't done it, especially on top of all the Trump stuff that's happened. I thought the NFL would start taking a hard line, but obviously we know where they stand.
Yeah, so my stance is this is not shocking at all. I don't care if your helmet grazes the other guys. That's got to be a suspension. You can't allow this kind of stuff to happen. That is the best quarterback of all time. I'm going to stand by that. He's definitely the best quarterback in the game right now. And I know you don't like it, but he is. You have to face facts.
I can admit he's good.
It doesn't matter who it is. You cannot allow players to deliver head hits like that.
Well, and this is why football's in such big trouble as a sport. Not just the NFL, but as a sport.
Is it in trouble?
I think so. Do you think football's going to be here in 20 years?
I think in some form it's going to be here. What's football?
Would you put your kids in football?
I probably would put my kids in football.
Yeah, and see, I'm not sure with all the concussion. Like until it becomes safer for the kids.
So what if football's not around? Are you playing touch football? I mean, you can still get a concussion playing. You can get a concussion playing any sport. So you're taking your kids out of sport.
You could get it walking down the street, but you're not throwing your head into people.
I get it, but that's where the NFL needs to take a stance. You can't allow that kind of stuff to happen. And the more they crack down on that, and the more they say to players, if you're going to do that, you're going to suffer severe consequences. That's how you slowly get those things out of the game.
Well, and they got to change the way they tackle. But you're right on that point.
Rugby.
Rugby knows how to tackle.
Just look at rugby.
No, for sure. Vegas Golden Knights 6-0-1 start to the year. Are we shocked?
That is shocking.
Or not shocked?
That is shocking. That is absolutely shocking.
When I look at that lineup, I think, oh boy. And yet, every single night, they seem to find a way.
Well, James Neal's been pretty good.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. And we knew he was a good player before.
Right.
That's not surprising. Maybe not this good.
I mean, they're essentially tied with the LA Kings for the Western Conference lead.
Well, and when you start like this, the start of the season, the first 7, 10, 15 games, that's huge because you can go on a big slide and you can still have a shot.
How'd you come up with 7, 10, 15?
That's the way my mind works.
You just grab those numbers?
Yeah. You should see me
when
when
I'm done
coaching.
like 8, 12, 14.
Right, 7, 10, 15. I don't know.
I'm just grinding your
Maybe I got a concussion. That's what that came up with.
If you don't have one, you will by co-hosting with me, that's for sure. Okay, listen, what have I got here? I've got current college football rankings. Alabama number 1, Penn State number 2, Georgia number 3, TCU number 4. This is shocking or not shocking?
Not shocking. TCU's always kind of in that bubble mix. It always seems like
they weren't over the not since what's his face left for Cincinnati. They haven't
right,
really
but
been
it
there.
seemed like they're kind of good. Like it feels like they always kind of get shafted in the rankings. Do you not feel like the rankings, the way that the college football rankings now, they want one underdog in the Final Four?
It seems like it. I think what's more shocking to me is the fact that Wisconsin is 5th.
Right.
That to me is more shocking. They're ahead of Ohio State. Wisconsin's schedule has been a cakewalk to this point.
Yeah,
if Wisconsin's schedule is given to Penn State or Ohio State, you have 2 Big Ten teams in the top 4 right now.
Right, and that's the thing they're trying to do is even it out throughout the conference. I would love to see 8, 12, 16 teams play down to actually see who the winner is because the way it is right now, like Washington, what are they, 6-1 or 7-1, right, in their conference? Like, are they really good or not? I don't know. The eye test can't tell you everything.
I don't believe that TCU is good enough to be 4th. That being said, the biggest game in college football is coming up, and it's Ohio State versus Penn State. College Game Day, ESPN College Game Day went to Penn State for Michigan, Penn State. I think they went to the wrong game. They should have gone to Ohio State this coming week.
Yeah, and that's going to be a phenomenal game.
Oh, it's incredible.
And losers out, really, right? Losers probably out of the playoffs. I got Lonzo
Loser
Ball.
is out of the playoffs, not probably. The loser is out of the top 4.
That's true. Lonzo Ball. Are we shocked or not shocked by the way he started the season? He had a bust game, he had a really good triple-double game, and then he had another terrible game.
I'm not shocked at all. I'm not shocked at all. I believe this kid is a good player, but he's not as good as number 1 as father's made him out to be. That's apparent. And he's not good enough to lift an awful Lakers team into the playoffs. He's not good enough. I'm not shocked by this.
Yeah, and what I see, I've made a point to watch a little bit more Lakers early in the year. He's not as athletic as I thought, and he makes good passes, but he's not necessarily a scorer.
He's known for that. He's known for making. That's his game. Is passing.
And passing's fine, but his defense is awful. Like
it's
if
terrible.
You look at his minus, I think he was minus 24 last night. Like it's not good. So as a Laker fan, I hope he gets better. But this is kind of what I thought was going to happen.
Look at Patrick Beverley schooled him.
I wouldn't say he kind of big boyed him.
Oh yeah. That's a better way to put it. Yeah. He definitely he showed him you're a little boy playing amongst men.
Pushed him around, threw him down,
big time. The Lakeland men's volleyball team, and I don't typically bring up Lakeland stuff with you, but this one is interesting. The Lakeland men's volleyball team out to a 1-3 start.
Right. So I am going to. Can I play middle ground on this?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say.
I know you work for the school.
I do work for the school, so I love all the wrestler programs.
Of course.
I'm going to say I'm a little shocked because if you look at the losses, they lost them 5, they lost them 5. They could easily be 3-1 right now. So despite the record saying 1-3, I think this team's really developing from where they were last year, and I think showing that they're in a battle all the time. I'm impressed with what I've seen, at least on the score sheets. Obviously, I don't get to see the games. What's your thought?
My thought is I am shocked. I'm absolutely shocked that they are 1-3. But there's something happening on that team that I saw when I was at the game that leads me to the not shock side. They're taking timeouts, and their bench players are screwing around on the court, banging the ball back and forth, bumping it. Like, what are you doing? When you watch some of these other teams take timeouts, there's running on the court. Like watching the women's volleyball game, and I'm not saying just Lakeland. I saw Grand Prairie do it as well. The girls are running back and forth on the court. There's no messing around, screwing around. And what happened in their last game, again, their first set against Grand Prairie, first match, when they were doing that, one of those bench players came into the game right after that timeout, and his serve was atrocious. And I believe it's because his head wasn't in the game during the timeout.
And that could be. And
these little things contribute to overall team non-success.
Right. Well, and that could be. I'm not a volleyball coach, so I don't know what they do for warm-ups, but I do know that the passing and volleying is part of a lot of the teams in their timeouts. Like I said, I don't know enough about it. You could come into my timeout and be like, "What the heck is Kinger doing in there?"
And I'm not again.
But it is a
maybe
culture
this is
piece.
part of Taylor Dyer's strategy, and that's fine, and that's the way. And I'm not roasting him for that. I'm just saying if I'm coaching or I'm in there, or even if I'm a player, I'm not even coaching. I'm just a player. I'm involved in this game. I'm not messing around.
Yeah, you're locked in.
Yeah, so
and I think
it's
that's
shocking.
part of what's trying to happen, right?
It's still shocking. That's a better team than last year. That's
Yeah.
a much better team than last year. They don't deserve that 1-3 start.
Yeah,
They're a better team than that.
I think they're going to be better.
They'll be fine.
I see some good things.
They'll be fine.
Let's move on to the Cleveland Browns here
Real
quickly.
quick.
You talked about they were going to win 7 games this year. They have won 0 games.
Yeah. That's shocking.
Your prediction shocking?
Yeah, they're a bad team. That's shocking. I thought they'd be better than that. I thought they'd win 4 games.
Yeah.
They're not going to win.
They might not win.
No, they may not win ever.
At all.
Ever again.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
As we mentioned, it's Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling Week this week in Lloydminster. It's Lloydminster, right?
Lloydminster. Still with this, eh?
I'll be on this for a while. This Josh guy and I are going to have a little fun. Okay, in all seriousness, great week of curling coming up. This is Final Take, so we're going to discuss some of this Pinty's Grand Slam of Curling, not necessarily from a who's going to win, who's going to lose standpoint, but more from a community involvement, community embracing this, and the footprint it's going to have on this community.
Yeah, I think one of the big things about being from the area of Lloydminster is that we've had the opportunity to host several national championships. Right?
For sure.
We've had Allen Cups, we had the softball nationals this summer. U18s. We hosted ourselves at the college, right, for women's nationals. So whenever there's a major event, I think Lloydminster and the community does such a fantastic job of rallying around it, and the economic impact is phenomenal for all the businesses and everything in the surrounding area, really, hotels and everything.
Right.
So I know that this is going to be done well. I'm really excited for the community because of all the new people it brings in. And this is a curling community.
It is. The one thing I will say is that Alberta has gone through its share of hard times. And I keep hearing, that Alberta's in a down economy right now. I believe that Alberta's in the new economy right now. It's not down with the expectation it's going to go back through the roof. This is the current economy that Alberta's in, right? That being said, I know there's a lot of people going through hard times. This is great because it brings in not just curlers. It brings in curlers' families. It brings in all kinds of other fans from other provinces. It brings in fans from other countries around the world to come in and watch this. Sweden will have people here watching this. The thing that worries me a little bit is the city of Lloydminster, and generally speaking, businesses within this city have a bit of an issue with customer service.
This is yours from a foreigner.
This is me coming in from someone outside of the city. I believe that there's a bit of an issue with customer service. This is a prime opportunity for the city of Lloydminster and its retail businesses to show that they can give exceptional service levels, because you do not want people walking away from this event who have spent their money in restaurants, who have spent their time at bars, who have spent their time at hotels and retail shops saying, I didn't enjoy it there.
Yeah,
And you do not want that. Not only do you not want that, the city of Lloydminster, in my opinion, cannot afford that right now.
No, and nor does any city, really, when you host an event
Sure.
like that, right? The word of mouth piece, as you're talking about,
It's huge.
is huge because not only are they coming from different provinces, they're coming from different countries. So this might be a stop for when someone comes overseas and they're going from Edmonton to Regina or Saskatoon or Toronto, right? They might stop here for a couple days. Hey, I really like Lloyd. It was a really nice place. People are friendly. Go to this coffee shop. Go to this place to eat. So I totally understand what you're saying. On the flip side, I think being a local, we know that most people here will bend over to make sure that these events do run.
And that's great.
And that's what we need to make sure it happens. And the Civic, for example, right, it's going to be out of commission for 2.5, almost 3 weeks for the ice to get ready for the curling itself, right? The Bobcats are on their own, great, right? Everyone's kind of making their sacrifices to host an event of this magnitude. And hopefully, it seems like now the city of Lloyd and the community is making this, hey, let's host something every year, a major event. And if you look at like the last few years, we've been hosting major events and the coverage has been fairly positive.
It has been. And I mean, I'm not trying to roast the city's businesses, and that's why I laid a general statement, because there are some businesses that are outstanding. But it's such an opportunity, and the economic impact it can have stretches well beyond this 10 days of curling that we're going to get. Or a week of, not even 10 days, a week basically of curling that we're going to get. It stretches into years down the road, as possibly people who visit this city say, wow, what a great experience I had. I want to go back there and check it out. Or maybe they like something about it. Maybe they come here and they go to Bud Miller and they love it. And they're like, I really enjoyed being there. I'd like to go back there another time. And that's what you need.
Yeah.
You know, if you can get return business from this, that's where the city will succeed.
Yeah. And I think on the community and sports side of things, it's really interesting when you host an event like this, how the ripple down effect happens in the community, right? I remember when I was a young kid growing up watching the Liners fastball, you know, win national championships and host a national championship. Well, that's what I wanted to be. That's why I grew up playing fastball, right? So hopefully this kind of grows a new breed of curlers and brings in some new people into the curling game, or even just watching it or coming down and listening to the bands play.
Well, and this
the
is the thing, right? The impact of having young people get involved is huge. It's massive. And that's the way that any sport or anything thrives, is by getting young people introduced to it and getting them involved in it. And they have the young curlers. I forget, they call them the junior curling program, if I'm not mistaken. They have that, which is fantastic. You know, and there's so many great things. And I hope that, you know, they sell out this venue. I hope that the Civic is regularly sold out and people attend these games, because it's going to be excellent curling. It's going to be incredible.
It's going to be packed, and Lloyd's going to do a great job on it. I'm excited.
I'm in Miscue next week. See you in 7.